Hello! This is Reverend Don Lewis coming to you from beautiful Florida. And today our question comes to us from Chrysalo. And Chrysalo writes to say that he has been making offerings to his ancestors, specifically his father, grandfather, and grandmother. However, since he began this practice, he has been having dreams in which his father and grandfather are angry with him, though he has not had similar dreams about his grandmother. And his question is, does this mean that he should discontinue making offerings to them and only make offerings to his grandmother, who apparently is not unhappy with it? And my answer to this is that this is one of the things it could mean. There are three things that I would think it might mean, and the first one is that your father and grandfather simply don't want to be active ancestors, which is certainly a possibility. The second thing it could mean is that they're not happy with the way that you're approaching them, in which case you might wish to vary your approach to something that would make them happier. And the best way to do that is to ask them what would make them happy. Or the third possibility is that these dreams actually represent not their attitudes, but your own preconceptions and fears about their reactions. And any of these three things could be the cause of the dreams. My recommendation is to do divination to see what the divination has to say as to which of these causes is more likely, and see what happens if you make the changes indicated for each of the different causes. If they don't want to be contacted as ancestors, then you would leave them alone. If they're not happy with the way that you're approaching them, ask them how they'd like to be approached. And if it has to do with your own fears, do a burning or other form of releasing to let go of those fears, and see which of these actually helps the situation. I do think that sometimes certain spirits just want to go on after life and not necessarily continue to be involved with their descendants, particularly if they've lived their lives in this expectation. And Lady Bitterwind, the retired first elder of the Corellian tradition, had this experience with her father. She knew that he was of the point of view that when life ended, you simply went on and no longer had contact with this world, so she never dealt with him as an ancestor. Some years after his death, she had a dream in which she found herself at a wonderful party, and there was her father. And he said, "My darling, I'm perfectly all right. I'm having a good time. I hope you're enjoying your life." And that was basically the total of her after-death contact with her father, but it did tell her that he was just where he wanted to be. And she did not approach him as an ancestor, and sometimes that's the best way to go. Other times they want to be involved, and your situation may simply be that your grandmother is the one who wishes to be involved. But again, I would say do divination, see what the divination tells you, try a couple of different things, and see what resolves the situation. And if you find that none of these things resolve it, contact me again, and I'll try to give you some more ideas. So I hope that answers your question, and until next time, may you blessed be. Today's vlog is brought to us by the term ancestors.
Ancestors. Ancestors are spirits of people who have helped to shape us into who we are. Commonly, these are deceased family members, and it is in that way that the term is primarily used. But ancestors need not necessarily be people to whom we are related by blood. A deceased person who helped us in some important way, or whom we particularly admire, may also be considered an ancestor. Sometimes a historical personage to whom we are drawn, perhaps because of a past life connection, of which we may or may not be conscious, will also be considered an ancestor. Ancestors are the spirits we honor as being fundamental to the development of our character and to whom we have a strong psychic bond. Often they act as spirit guides to us, advising us and aiding us as we go forward in life. Ancestors should be acknowledged and honored regularly to strengthen the psychic bond between us and them.